Have you ever felt like you're juggling a million things at once? Work, family, personal goals. It's like having 20 browser tabs open in your brain, and they're all playing different videos at full volume. It's overwhelming, right? We all know that feeling. We try to multitask, we try to power through, but eventually the system crashes. We get stressed, anxious, and our performance drops off a cliff. What if I told you there's a better way? A way to manage all this chaos, not just by coping, but by thriving under pressure. This isn't about some quick fix or a magic pill. This is about upgrading your mental operating system. Think of your mind like a powerful computer. It has incredible processing power, but if the software is buggy or outdated, it won't run efficiently. Today, we're going to explore how to install a new OS, one designed for full integration and peak performance, especially when the heat is on. We'll break down the 3 core components of this system: emotional regulation, cognitive reframing, and action-oriented focus. By the end of this, you'll have a practical roadmap to transform pressure from an enemy into your greatest ally. Let's start with the first, and arguably most important, component: emotional regulation. When we're under pressure, our first response is often emotional. Our heart races, our palms sweat, our mind gets cloudy. This is our ancient fight or flight response kicking in. It was great for escaping saber-toothed tigers, but it's not so helpful when you have a looming project deadline. The key isn't to suppress these emotions. That's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It'll just pop up with more force later. Instead, we need to acknowledge and manage them. A powerful technique for this is what I call the pause and label method. The moment you feel that surge of stress or anxiety, just pause. Take one deep breath. In that moment of stillness, mentally label the emotion. Say to yourself, okay, I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling overwhelmed. This simple act does something amazing. It shifts the activity in your brain from the reactive, emotional centers to the more logical prefrontal cortex. You're no longer just experiencing the emotion. You're observing it. This creates a tiny bit of space, and in that space, you regain control. You're not the storm. You're the calm observer watching the storm. Practice this throughout your day. The more you do it, the more automatic it becomes, giving you a crucial buffer between a trigger and your reaction. Now, let's move on to the second component, cognitive reframing. This is where we change the story we tell ourselves about the pressure. Our brains are natural storytellers. When faced with a challenge, we instantly create a narrative. Often, that narrative is negative. I can't do this. I'm going to fail. This is a disaster. This story dictates our emotional response and our subsequent actions. Cognitive reframing is about consciously choosing to tell a different, more empowering story. It's not about lying to yourself or toxic positivity. It's about finding the opportunity within the obstacle. So, how do you do it? Start by catching your negative self-talk. When you hear that inner critic saying, "This is impossible," challenge it. Ask yourself, is that really 100% true? Have I never faced a difficult task before and succeeded? Then reframe it. Instead of, "This is a problem," try, "This is a puzzle to be solved." Instead of, "I'm afraid of failing," try, "This is an opportunity to learn and grow." A classic example is the difference between a threat mindset and a challenge mindset. When we see a situation as a threat, our body releases cortisol, the stress hormone, preparing us to retreat. When we see it as a challenge, our body releases hormones that enhance focus and energy, preparing us to engage. The situation is the same. The story you tell yourself is what changes everything. This brings us to our third and final component, action-oriented focus. Once you've managed your emotional state and reframed your mindset, it's time to act. But not just any action. It has to be focused and strategic. When we're overwhelmed, our tendency is to either freeze up and do nothing, or flail around trying to do everything at once. Both are incredibly inefficient. The secret to cutting through the noise is to identify the one next thing. Don't think about the entire mountain you have to climb. Just look at the very next step you need to take. A brilliant technique for this is the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes to complete, do it immediately. Answering that quick email, making that short phone call, tidying that one spot on your desk. This builds momentum and clears out the small stuff that clutters your mind. For larger tasks, break them down into the smallest possible action items. What is the very first physical action you can take? Is it opening a document? Writing a single sentence? Making one phone call? By focusing on these micro actions, you make the task feel less intimidating. You start a positive feedback loop. You take a small action, you get a small win. You feel a little more confident. And that makes it easier to take the next small action. This is how you build unstoppable momentum, one tiny step at a time. Now, let's talk about full integration. These 3 components, emotional regulation, cognitive reframing, and action-oriented focus, aren't separate tools you pull out one at a time. They work together, synergistically, to form your new mental operating system. Imagine a high-pressure situation at work. A major client is unhappy. The old OS would boot up. Panic sets in, that's the emotional flood. The negative story starts. I'm going to lose this client. My boss will be furious. I'm a failure. That's the cognitive spiral. The result? You either freeze, avoiding the client's calls, or you send a frantic, poorly thought out email, making things worse. That's unfocused action. Now, let's run the same scenario with your new, upgraded mental OS. The bad news hits. You feel that jolt of anxiety. You immediately use the pause and label technique. Okay, I'm feeling fear and pressure. Deep breath. You've just regulated your emotional state. Now, you reframe the narrative. Instead of, this is a disaster, you think, this is a crucial opportunity to show this client how much we value them by solving this problem. You've just reframed it from a threat to a challenge. Finally, you shift to action-oriented focus. You ask, what's the one next thing? It's not solve everything. It's gather all the information about the client's complaint. That's your first manageable step. See the difference? You've transformed being a victim of the pressure to being the pilot in command. This integrated system is what separates high performers from everyone else. They aren't superhuman. They don't lack fear or stress. They have just practiced this cycle so many times that it becomes their default response. It's a mental muscle. And like any muscle, it gets stronger with consistent training. You have to practice this in low-stakes situations. Practice the pause and label when you're stuck in traffic. Practice reframing when a small plan for your day goes wrong. Practice identifying the one next thing when you're tidying up your home. By training in the calm, you'll be prepared for the storm. Ultimately, this mental operating system is about building resilience. Resilience isn't about being unbreakable. It's about being able to bounce back. It's about knowing that when pressure hits, you have a reliable internal system to navigate it effectively. You have a process. You can trust yourself to handle it. This trust is the ultimate source of confidence. It frees you from the constant fear of what might go wrong and allows you to focus your energy on making things go right. You stop wasting mental bandwidth on anxiety and start investing it in creative problem solving and purposeful action. So let's recap the upgrade. First, install your emotional firewall with the pause and label technique to regulate your feelings. Second, run new, empowering software with cognitive reframing to change your story about the pressure. And third, execute with precision using action-oriented focus by identifying the one next thing. This isn't just about managing stress. It's about transforming your relationship with pressure. It's about unlocking a new level of clarity, focus, and performance in every area of your life. Start practicing today. Pick one of these techniques and apply it Upgrade your system, one line of code at a time. You have the power to not just withstand the pressure, but to harness it and achieve things you never thought possible. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful, give it a like and consider subscribing for more content on mastering your mindset. Let me know in the comments which of these components you're going to start working on first. See you in the next one.